Next up, we have The Master by Thematic X Boom Kitty from the Beat Saber OST 7. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, one of the paid membership things. Do not put your economic well-being at risk to do that. There's no obligation at all. It's just really cool if you do. Of course, two disclaimers. Number one, I've never heard this in my life, so I'm going to be pausing a lot as I will be pointing things out as I hear them. And number two, this is recorded live on stream. On a single take, so I might stumble upon my words, I might space out here and there. That's just what happens, right? So, let's do this. The Master from Beat Saber. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we start with what could be a marching band, snares. There's a big difference between a single snare and a marching band snare, and this is more like the Brazilian carnaval type of snares, which comes down once again to instrumentation. We are just giving you a rhythmic motif. Motif, of course, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed from which everything comes from, right? And in this case, we are deliberately not bringing any melody or harmony. We're doing entirely rhythm, and that is the music right now, with these ensembles of like dozens of people playing a snare drum, or drums, right? Really, really cool stuff. Very reminiscent of those marching bands, carnival, that kind of thing. So, yeah, let's see where this goes. And now we have our melodic motif. We have a couple of synths. It sounds a bit more like it sounds a bit like we have some like brass, like trombones, trumpets, kind of thing. So it brings even more that feel of a marching band. And what these are doing melodically is called accents. You are hearing how they are playing at very specific points in the rhythm. That is an accent. In music, that is an accent. An accent in music is not, you know, being able to tell if somebody's from Russia or not. It's highlighting specific points in the rhythm one way or another. Usually it's the other way around, though. Usually you will have a melody playing and you will have the rhythm section giving you the accents. Or it's going to be another melodic section, but it's going to be usually between melodic instruments. It is fairly rare to have the accents being made from a melodic instrument, or, you know, a non-rhythm instrument, to a rhythmic line. It's fairly rare to have that. So I like that already, that we're already going against that kind of convention. Let's see. We introduce okay, I love this. So we are introducing here the whole point of we actually have a melody with some of those brass instruments. We have some strings giving us a little bit more texture, like, you know, violin, giving us a bit of texture kind of at the top kind of thing. Thank you, Vancaro, for hanging out. And, of course, we now have a quasi-flying melody. So flying melody is a colloquial term that I use, right? Colloquial means there is no academic official term. I'm just, or at least I'm not using it for the purposes of illustrating this. So a flying melody is what I describe as having a busy bass line, rhythm line, sometimes middle line, and then having a simpler melody, longer melody, kind of just flying above everything else while the rest is kind of busy. So it gives you that illusion of soaring above just a complex landscape kind of thing. However, in this case, the violins are above that. So it gives you that feeling of, instead of flying above, it's the feeling of flying through. We've heard this a lot in games like Ultra Kill, that kind of thing. So yeah, and V1, we're not taking requests just yet. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when you can request. So let's see. And of course, the escalation.
Well, it seems one with many skills. What a rare combination.
and we bring in one of the most devastatingly amazing tools that a musician can have, silence. And we bring in a sample of a recording spoken word, right? Really good for this kind of thing of just turning your song temporarily into a score. So score in the sense of like video game scoring, film scoring, that kind of thing, it's used to accentuate or underline the emotions that are happening, to amplify, so to speak, the mood of whatever scene is happening. And in this case, had the audio played by itself, it would have one vibe. With the audio playing the way it is with the song, has a completely different vibe. So that is the whole point of scoring, and of course the whole point of video game music, film scoring, is that as well, to just amplify whatever emotions you want the audience to feel. Let's see where this goes, though.
Your abilities are no match for me, Basterd.
Okay, there we go. So we bring in the drop. That was a cool build-up. That was a very, very cool build-up. We finally have the drop. We bring in a somewhat new rhythm to this whole thing. The rhythm is not that reminiscent of those initial snares that we heard, but what we do have in common is that the second half of this like drum loop is the melody that we had earlier. Yes, the drum, like the rhythm does have a little bit of that same motif that we had with the snares. It's just difficult to hear because of how spread this is. I wouldn't call this an octave displacement. It's just that instead of it being one single drum being hit, now it's several, right? So it does throw you off a little bit like that in the good sense. Yeah, it just threw me off a little bit, because I had to take a moment to realize that yes, it is still the same motif. It's just that instead of focusing on one single drum, we now have the full set, the full kit. So let's see where it goes. And there we have the snares back. I like this. So now we bring in that flying melody back, but with the new rhythm. The new rhythm is completely unrelated to that initial rhythm. This is more EDM. The other one was more like carnival, like Brazilian carnival rhythm. Very contrasting. Very, very risky move. But it was good. Let's see where it goes. Mini, welcome today. I like how we're using the "can you do this" as a motif as well. I like that. We are using it more than once as a transitionary point. That is good. That is good. It is, I wouldn't say too clever, but it is good. It shows a good knowledge of recalling things, because once again, when you're making music, you want a balance between keeping things familiar and giving new stuff to your listener. And of course, the first time we heard the drum loop here, you know, the dropping of the beat, that's new material. That's completely unrelated new material. So reconciling that with what we just heard, it threw me off a little bit. It's a cool drop though. So being able to then second time around doing this, then yes. Request at the end of this one, yeah. So yeah, recapitulation of that first drop that we had. We are just adding a couple of bits here and there. We just heard the sound of a gun going off, which is, you know, fairly common for these in electronic music. One of the big advantages of all electronic music, no matter which subgenre, you can interrupt the music and it works in its favor. Like, it's very difficult to do this in other genres. It's extremely difficult to do this in other genres. In electronic music, it allows it a lot more. Because the way electronic music works is it's usually very loud, in the sense of it covers most sound waves and most frequencies. So it is very loud, it is very, it can be very overwhelming to the ears, so any break you get from it gives you time to breathe in, and putting something in between there, during those moments of breath, works to your advantage even more. So, yeah. Now another complete 180.
Impressive.
Complete 180. We use the same sound sample as a transition. Similar melody. Now we changed over to piano and saxophone. The melody, I would say, a variation of the original motif, of that initial trombone motif. Is just in the saxophone now. Yeah, that works. That works. This melody we had heard a little bit before, yeah. And the trumpets.
You've come farther than most.
So yeah, what we had here in this moment with the piano and the saxophone, that is called a break. We took a break from everything else going on. We brought in something completely different with the piano and the saxophone. And now we are bringing back to the build-up to our next section, which is probably going to be the climax of what we'd heard before. Usually in a climax, you want to revisit as much of the material that you already have. So let's see where this goes, because this is interesting. Let's see.
But there's something you need to know.
Build it up with those initial snares. Nice.
I always get the last laugh.
That was really good. What I would have done, I would have let him have that first laugh. Like, I would have let him have the last laugh in silence. Just let that last laugh play. And just as he finishes the laugh, split second of silence, drop the beat. Because then it becomes thematic. Because something very important when you're composing is that you want to make sure that every element adds up as much as possible. So something that I do as a composer is whenever I write something, and for example, when I wrote my opera, yes, I wrote an opera. It never got performed, but I wrote an opera. Whenever a character was asking questions, the inflection, the melody would be going upwards. Because when you ask a question, your inflection goes upwards. So I would make sure that details like that were always there. And in this case, the character says, I always get the last laugh. So let him have the last laugh. Give him that moment of him being the last one in that section. Maybe Boom Kitty does this again and the track ends with that last laugh. But that's how I would have done it a little bit different. Like, just delay this gratification a little bit, and then you have that moment of, cheeky bastard, you did the thing with the track, and the track did the thing, and now it's interacting. Like, it gives it a lot more symmetry. Not symmetry. It gives it a lot more. What's the word I'm searching for? It just interacts a lot better with each other. It was still awesome. It's still a good drop. It's just that I would have changed it a little bit more like that. So let's see. So variation of that drum that we had at the beginning. Cohesion, yes, cohesion. That's a good word. Thank you, Laura. That's a good word to put this. Yeah, it would have more cohesion that way. It would be a lot better. It's still pretty good. Now, something else that is going on over here. Climax-wise, it's interesting. We are not really revisiting any material from before. We're letting this drop play. We're letting this drum beat play. The drum beat is a variation of something we already heard before. So, it does have that bit of it. Let's see where it goes. Let's see. There we go. Now we bring in the other stuff back. There you go. Bring in the saxophone. There you go. We're bringing back as much as we can. Oh, nice. So yeah, this climax, well-built climax, you're having basically two halves to each part of this drum. First half is the EDM beat that you want. Really cool drum and bass line going off against each other, with each other kind of thing. Having a little bit of recollection of that initial rhythmic motif. Like it's a variation of that initial rhythmic motif, so you're still playing around with that idea. And then the second half of that is giving a bit more focus to the melodic ideas that you've used before. So a very good way of bringing in climax in a piece, because usually, again, climax, you want to bring as many elements that you have done together. You want to bring as much stuff together and just see where it goes. Let's see where this goes, because we got 20 seconds left. Let's see how this ends. Okay, one more repeat. Saxophones are going crazy. And there you go. That's how we end it. So we do one last cadence towards the saxophones, letting them go that high note. We hit that high note, one last chord. We bring in a little bit of that initial snare drum run, and then we break the glass. We break the glass. So what we did just now, the cadence, right? So because when you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension, or you're resolving that tension, that moment right in between, we call the cadence. So cadence worked really, really well. It resolved everything, and now the song is over. That was really fun. That was really fun, and there you go. That was The Master by Thematic and Boom Kitty from Beat Saber OST 7. That was really fun. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA Layman-Friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. If you're watching this on the video archive, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Become a member, support the channel even further with those paid subscriptions. No obligations. Do not put your economic well-being at risk to support this channel. If you want to listen to this track without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I will be linking it down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord. If you're on the live stream, you can start requesting right now, by the way. If you're not on the live stream, you need to go to the Discord, link down below, and go to the LFA requests channel, follow the instructions on the pinned comment over there, and just take it on the pinned comments and take it from there. And of course, if you want to catch these streams live, check the Discord and the Twitch for the stream schedule. We aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes we skip like a Friday or something like that. That's why check the schedule on the Twitch and Discord. It shows on your local time zone too, so that you don't have to bother with that. Also follow the gaming channel. Games are Basterd. Same username. Just swap the J for a G and you're good. And yeah. There you go. That was The Master from Beat Saber. That was fun stuff. Fun stuff. Really, really fun stuff. But